Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel or series videos. Thank you so much for the likes, the comments, and for subscribing. In this video I'll be updating you on his mistress child. Yashoda found Krishna. You need to watch to the end to find out what happened. Let's go. Manoj and Gayatri come to Yashoda and ask her if she saw Krishna. Yashoda says she saw him on the other side of the road but didn't see him. She says, "We shall search separately." They live in the car. Yashoda comes to the orphanage. Krishna comes to the orphanage and asks Gerdhare to open the door fast. He sees Yashoda getting down from the auto. Yashoda sees him entering the orphanage. Gerdhare opens the gate. Krishna runs inside and asks him not to tell Yashoda that he is here. Gerdhare says, "You know the rules to stay here." Krishna asks him to talk to Matron. New Matron comes there and asks Gerdhare who is he. Krishna says, "I am Krishna. I used to stay here. I will tell you everything, but don't let Mama come inside." Matron takes him with her. Gerdhare tries to stop Yashoda. Yashoda asks him to let her go inside. Krishna tells Matron that he used to stay here but had gone somewhere else for a few days. Matron says, "I know that you used to stay in Gupta House's custody." Krishna says, "I don't want to stay there anymore." Yashoda asks Gerdhare to let her come inside. Matron asks Krishna if they used to beat you or mistreated you. Krishna recalls Yashoda telling him that Ashok is his father. Matron asks if someone did wrong with you. Krishna says nobody did anything. "I didn't want to stay there. That house is not good for me." Gerdhare asks Yashoda to go and not to stand on the gate. Yashoda goes to side and thinks, "Please God, show me some way to go inside." A woman comes there. Watchman opens the door. Yashoda runs behind the woman. Krishna asks Matron to let him stay there. Matron says, "I have to inform police. You can't stay here." Yashoda comes there and asks her not to call police. She says, "We will solve the matter." She holds his hand and asks him to listen. She asks him if I am so bad that you don't want to return. He says, "You are not bad," and says, "I will not return home." He runs from there and locks himself in one of the rooms. Yashoda asks him to tell the reason why he doesn't want to come back. Matron is standing there. The episode starts with Krishna asking Yashoda to leave from there and says, "I will not come with you." Yashoda says, "When you had told me that you couldn't see me sad, then why you came here?" She says, "I fought with many people and took you out from here." She asks if one truth has changed everything and says, "I am with you." She asks him to open the door and come with her. Krishna says, "I will never forget your favors and I will always remember you," and asks her to understand him. Yashoda says, "This place is not for you. Whatever I had done with you is not for sympathy and any favor." Kamini sees Arvind coming and tells Basar that she will pretend to faint. Basar starts crying, seeing, and holds Kamini. Arvind comes running and says, "We shall take her to the hospital." Basar acts. Arvind goes to tell his parents. Matron asks Yashoda to go and says she will call police and they will handle him. Yashoda says they will make his life hell again and says she can't let him stay in the orphanage. She asks Krishna to come out for her sake and says if he did not come with her, he's breaking relation with her, and asks him to tell that he doesn't regard her as Dusrima anymore. She says, "Tell me that you are breaking the knot tied by your mother Mala between us," and asks him to answer her, and then she will leave. Krishna cries. Yashoda says, "You will not say anything," and says, "Until you come out and answer me, I will not go from here, and I will sit here." She sits outside on the bench and gets teary eyes. Krishna cries in the room. Amma and Mawa come to Kamini with Arvind. Amma asks Arvind to bring water. She sprinkles on her face. Mawa thinks if she's acting. Amma says we shall take her to doctor. Mawa says we shall take her to the hospital and not clinic. Basa asks Kamini to get up and says, if they admit you in the hospital, then I have to spend money and you will get injections. Kamini pretends to gain consciousness and apologizes to Ama. Ama asks her not to act and asks her to have food. Ama says she will think about forgiving her. Basa says Babuji has forgiven you, and that's why I gave you work to tell Yashoda that he is in the temple and will not return home if she takes Krishna home. Krishna looks at Yashoda. Yashoda sees him. His inner self asks him if he is thinking to go and meet her. Krishna says everyone must be worried for her. His inner self asks her not to go and says if you go then it won't be good. He says you can't face Asta and Nupo as you have badmouthed about their father many times. He says she will sit here and will go home. The matron asks Yashoda, until when will you sit there? She says, it seems Krishna will not come out until you leave. She asks her to go home and says, we will bring him out and will call you when he becomes normal. Yashoda gets up and goes to the window. She says, Krishna, I have promised your mother that I will take care of you and promised your father also unknowingly. She says, I started loving you and never hate you for my husband's cheat. She says, I never held you responsible for your father's move. She says, I always thought that you are like your mother, but you turn out to be like your father and left her like he has left him. She says, I am leaving and will not return. God shall keep you happy. She goes. Krishna looks on from the window. The episode starts with Krishna thinking of Yashoda's words, that he is like his father rather than his mother, so become like him. He comes out of the room and sees Yashoda leaving. He shouts and says, I am not like my father. Yashoda stops and looks at him. Krishna runs to Yashoda. Gedhari and New Wedding looks at them. Krishna comes near Yashoda and says, I hate that man. I can't be like him. Yashoda says, even you did the same like him. She says, your father first left your mother and then left me and you. Krishna says, I didn't run from home. I came here as I don't want to do wrong with Asta and Nupo. He says, their father is a good guy, but my father is not good. Yashoda says, if you want to do bad with me, and asks if you will leave me alone like your father. Krishna says, I love you very much, like I used to love my mother. Yashoda says, since you came in my life, I am surrounded with questions. Now our questions are same, as our guilty person is same. She says we have to wait for the betrayer man in same house and ask him to come. Krishna holds her palu and starts walking. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and come back for more updates from your favorite Z Word series.